What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB First Look. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013 from the Wise Take Nation. We've got an 11-game slate on Wednesday. No early slate, no full early slate. There's a couple games in the early, but no full early slate. At that point in the season where the MLB starts to make the schedule a little lighter during the day to spare some of these teams that are in the grind and have been grinding all season. Starting off with cash games, I think that Garrett Cole certainly stands out as a priority. He's 12-2, very, very expensive, but he's just been dominant. And while I don't see a super punt that I'd feel comfortable with on this slate, I do think you can make a case for Savali at 7K against the Tigers. Not a ton of money to work with, so I understand that the new generation, so to speak, is going to try to pay down a little bit more. I can see maybe them going to Odorizzi or Syndergaard because of how bad the White Sox are, and they are bad. Pineda did the dirty to them today. It's interesting because there's actually a few different. I wouldn't be surprised if people just bypassed. The mid-tier is so deep on this slate that I wouldn't be surprised if people just bypassed Cole. Again, I'm from the old school train of thought where you just pay up for that best pitcher that you can get, and that's Cole lately. Scherzer potentially on a pitch count, leaving Cole as like the guy, far and above, in terms of ceiling. And he's been awesome lately. So like that's why I say that, but he could end up becoming a little more contrarian if people don't find ways to get the bats they want with him. And again, this mid-tier is loaded. We've got Kenta Maeda against the Padres at 8K. He's been pitching a lot better lately. 9Ks against the Braves, 9Ks against Toronto. Dominant outings. So he's had 3 good outings in a row. Now he gets the Padres. So I can see him becoming trendy. Desclafani has not been great, but he's playing Miami. By far, one of the best matchups he's had in a while. So that's certainly an option. I mentioned Savali already against the Tigers. We've got like Mike Folty, who's been pretty solid lately, going up against Toronto. So there's a lot of people to consider in this mid-tier, and that may be a trendy way people go, assuming that the Red Sox will once again be popular against Peter Lambert, who's not been good in cores. So as much as I want to say Cole Savali, and I think we are going to see some players do that, I also think we're going to see a mix of those mid-tiers. Now for tournaments, my initial thought was, well, if you're going to play Cole and cash, maybe you get away from him in tournaments, and like that was it. The mid-tier was so deep, but now I'm starting to wonder if that is going to be like the chalk way to go, because it's definitely going to be easier to get bats that way. If you go like Maeda Desclafani, for example, which is a combination that right now looks pretty juicy, and then you go to Boston, you could see 42.75. With Savali Cole, we had like 38 and change. So this definitely seems like something people may do. I'm able to get bets NJD, and now I have 38.16. So this could be fairly trendy. And the thing is, the build may be somewhat chalky because there are a few options. It's not just one certain pitching combination. You have a couple different ways you can go, like Savali, like Folty, who should be the lowest owned of the guys we've even mentioned. But just kind of like going into the bats, like it does look like there's some offenses you're going to want that cost money. I mean, I know the Red Sox are expensive. They're in a very, very good spot. I think that the Indians against Zimmerman is a very interesting spot. Zimmerman has been trolly lately, but the Indians are a pretty good offense, and he did catch Houston when Houston was kind of struggling. So tomorrow we will find out what it is. And then after that, it's not great. Maybe the Nationals against Asher. Asher is very home run prone, gives up a ton of fly balls and hard contact. Now today, the Nationals struck out a pretty good amount against Aaron Brooks. They got shut down by him, which is kind of embarrassing. And I do think Asher may be a better pitcher in terms of strikeout, upside. Well, he is in terms of strikeout upside. Brooks not a strikeout guy. Asher is. But the Nationals are usually pretty tough to strike out. So I kind of like the Nationals, who could go kind of overlooked on this particular slate, behind like the obvious Red Sox. Of course. The Twins have been mashing lefties lately. Detweiler's coming off a really good game, but look who it was against. It was against Texas, who he dominated once and is going to dominate again. Texas has struggled for the most part of this season against lefties. I don't expect Detweiler to put up this kind of performance against Minnesota. Minnesota is in a much better park for hitting, so we'll want to check the weather and see if anything's upgraded. But I do think the Twins are pretty interesting also. And then I guess the last team I'll talk about, I guess there are a lot of offenses to consider, but Eduardo's been awful, right? 8 runs against Toronto, 2 against Minnesota, 8 total, but 2 earned. So 8, 8, and 6 each of his last 3 starts. He's been pretty bad. So it's not a great park for the Angels. You don't love taking them there, but guys like Ohtani, Mike Trout, some of these guys may go a little underowned because of Coors and some of the other spots on the slate. And I do think that there's merit. So there is a pretty good amount. Actually, a pretty good slate. I'm going to do some top 3s here in a second. Before I do that, don't forget to check us out at wisetape.com for more Fire DFS content. This, of course, is a first look. I'm looking at the slate pretty much for the first time with you guys, and I got a lot of research to do tomorrow. So if you want to come find out what we're on over at the Wise Take Nation, get a day pass. $2.50 will get you in for one full day. And I think tomorrow I will be writing the GPP article. So come check it out. I'll put all my plays up there. And again, $2.50, all it costs to get in for a day. All the MLB content comes with a day pass except for the Slack chat. Slack chat is for monthly members only. Highly recommend the Slack chat. You'll save some money, number one, if you get the monthly membership or higher. And number two, it's good to get in there and talk to some of our members, some of our analysts. Some of our members are really, really smart. They've been with us for a long time, been grinding it with us, just learning a ton. So some of those guys are pretty sharp. And right now, we're actually pretty hot. So come check us out. Do dirties. Football's coming. Season pass is up there. Wisetape.com. The sale ends September 1st. Get it. All right. So my top 3 pitchers. Cole is obvious, but I'm not going to include him in this because I'm into this mid-tier. I'm going to go Maeda, Desclafani, and Fulte. Top 3 stacks. So Boston number 1, the obvious. I'll go Minnesota number 2. And the Angels are definitely on this list, but so is Washington. I'm going to go with Washington for now, but it's close between them and the Angels. I do like all those offenses. Dong Watch. Who is going deep? I'm going to go with Ohtani. We'll go Ohtani. Let's go Anthony Rendon. And a guy that's a little bit cheaper would be nice, since we have so many of these guys that are expensive. Paulie had an awesome call with Fran Miller, the GOAT, today. He's 4K this time now. It was a sick call. Fran Miller, the Millie GOAT. Let's see. Oh, got one. Chris Davis against Jake Junis. I think he's heating up. 3,500. Rendon, Ohtani, Davis. Crush Davis with a K on the A's. Doing dirties all day. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, please click that like button, that thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you're notified whenever we put out any content on the channel. Mostly DFS here. We will talk some gambling for NFL, betting, all that good stuff. And don't forget to check out the Wise Take Nation podcast, which is really what that podcast will morph into once the NFL season starts. But yeah, appreciate you. For myself, the entire Wise Take Nation. As always, good luck.